Broadcasting live from sunny South Florida, this is KMA Talk Radio. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of fine cigars. Your KMA crew, the Italian Scallion, Paul DeGracco, Alex Tavella, a.k.a. The GOAT, and always telling it like it is, Honest Abe.
I like to smoke them like the Winston Churchill, like John Kennedy, yeah. Remember Coach Red Auerbach, smoked up for victory, yeah. Well, you can take my wife, you can take my car, but you can't take my big cigar. My cigar.
Good morning to all our loyal, it's going to be one of those days. All our loyal listeners, libertarians, and lovers of the leaf. I am your host this morning, Honest Abe, along with my cohorts, the Italian Scallion himself, Paul DeGracco, and the man we call the GOAT, Alex Tavella.
What's up, people?
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, Paul.
You got a little pep in your step this morning, Alex.
Yeah, I got some sleep last night. I was on like 3 days of sleeplessness, and
How's your cube pillow? Is it helping?
Well, it is helping. So I have this. I found a solution. So I have this. Me and Abe have this thing. We both have the pillow cube. He has the 6-inch pillow cube, which is a little too big and very firm. I have the 5-inch pillow cube, which is little too small and not quite as firm as.
But yours is only two, because we switched pillows.
Yeah, we actually did a switch.
I thought mine was too high and he thought his was too low, so we switched. And your pillow would be perfect if it had the same firmness as my pillow.
If my pillow had the firmness of your pillow, it'd be perfect.
But oddly enough, the pillows have two different firmnesses.
They really do, and I guess that extra inch makes a difference in firmness. So I actually had this old pillow that I've had for it's like literally a slither of a pillow.
You put it underneath and it's
and it gives me just enough, and it's good because the best thing honestly about the pillow cube is it doesn't ride its way up the fucking headboard. It just stays because it's square, so it's
perfect. But
it's perfect.
Have you noticed if you ever are not sleeping, say you're just lying in bed wanting to talk,
it's awful to just hang out on.
Yeah, you can't lie on your back on the pillow. It's like the most weirdest.
No, there's no like laying or like propping it up and watching TV.
No way.
That's a sleeping pillow only
for sleeping on your side. That's it.
Yeah.
There's absolutely no other use for that pillow.
Yeah, but if you're an absolute side sleeper, it's the pillow to have.
I mean, I'm a side / stomach sleeper, so I don't know if it.
So
would
it would
work.
probably work for you.
Who could sleep on their stomach? I feel like it's like suffocation.
Yeah, I feel like it's like
I like sleep like this, like on my. I don't know.
Like this,
right?
I feel like I'd be up.
That just looked uncomfortable.
Yeah, sleeping on my stomach sounds like 6 piss sessions during the course of the night.
Sometimes it is.
Yeah,
sometimes it is.
Man, I feel beat
I didn't
up.
know you got the pillow.
Yeah, I did. I got it.
You guys had a crazy week, though.
Every week's a crazy week.
Every week.
Honestly,
I'm just beat down. I'm run down. I got a family vacation coming up, and I've had like just a month of physical agony nonstop. Like literally. First, I had plantar fasciitis. I couldn't walk for 3 weeks. Literally, about the time I recover from that, I get in the car accident, screws up my neck and shoulder for another week and a half.
Right. That's right. I forgot about that.
I get about 2 days of feeling well, and I play racquetball. And now I'm walking around like a hip pointer, with a hip pointer. Getting in and out of my chair is excruciating, miserable.
I'll tell you what, you old guys took a beating playing racquetball. I mean, won games, but Briggs, I'm pretty sure Briggs cracked a rib. He can't even laugh without being in pain.
Our operations guy cracked the rib. I had played 2 games of Alex, which in all our time playing is probably the best 2 games he had against me, and wore me out. And then I played Matt's 25-year-old son, which was an epic mistake.
Yeah.
I won the match, but I lost.
Yeah.
Like literally, I haven't been able to walk since that game.
I mean, you figure
he's in pretty good shape. Too.
He's
a 25-year-old Italian. He's like Hercules.
Abe and Matt are pushing 50. I'm pushing 40, and here comes Danny, the 25-year-old spring chicken, who's just. I mean, it's there's no tiring him out. You either get the point, but if you're going to volley with Danny, I mean, he's until he messes up, he's got the legs to run around and get the ball.
Right.
So I'm really feeling beat up, and now we got this family trip coming up, and I'm just tired. We need a warehouse. We're working in literal chaos, and everybody's just our just current facilities can't handle what we're doing. It's just the reality of the situation. We're literally stuffing 25 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag.
Yeah, it's off, and it's
soon. You'll be ready soon. No?
Which I've made my career at doing. I mean, like literally, like because we've just been constantly growing over 25 years. I've always been good at managing, getting a lot done in a very small space. When we did our headquarters here, it was like we went, holy cow, look at this like metropolis we built. This is amazing. And now
look at how much room is in the back,
dude. Crazy. I mean, our whole shipping area and office and operations used to be in a room probably not the size of my office right now. And then when we moved here, we're like, oh God, this is great. And it's like, it's really been hard. And
and the ball doesn't stop rolling either. So, I mean, we're honestly looking at ourselves and like, all right, we got the next promotion, the next thing. And it's just like, man, these poor shipping guys.
Yeah.
The poor lounge. Shout out to our patrons in the lounge. They just kind of roll with it. They're basically in a high-end warehouse right now.
Pretty much.
They don't care. People hang. It's fun.
Some of them actually are enjoying watching it.
Dude, I bet some would jump in and help if they got the opportunity to.
Well, listen, that's what I said. That's what I said when we get ready to open the warehouse. We're gonna have a big warehouse reveal, have pizza and food, invite everybody over, and when they show up, it's like, all right, grab a box.
Let's go.
Oh my God.
You got plenty of guys that'll jump in there.
Oh yeah. Listen,
absolutely.
Throughout my whole career, honestly, I think that's one of my friends said early on. He said, it's just amazing how, like, all these people would come out and help. When I had opened up West Palm originally, I was by myself. We had no employees. When I opened up the West Palm store, I had no employees. It was me and my one partner. He stayed in the first location. I went to the second location. And not only did my friend, and then we were going to a POS system for the very first time. So not only were we receiving product, I had to enter every SKU.
Right, you have to scan everything in.
Not just enter it, I had to name it, enter the call, all the math. So I would literally lived there like for a week or two. I think my wife barely ever saw me. And I would enter all this product all night long and just print out stacks of labels all night long. And then my patrons and my friends would come in during the day with their kids. Sometimes it was the weekend or after school, and they would just label boxes all day long.
Throwing SKUs on things.
That's all day long. I was living on like Red Bull and coffee and just working through the night. I remember at one point almost like literally like after like 4 or 5 days of it, like just like almost crying to myself saying like, what the fuck am I doing? Like it was really insane. But guys have always been willing to help. And I think that's one of the great things about our community, man. It's not just, for me. I mean, I see it all the time out here. Alex, when you moved, everybody, hey, you need help moving? It's just, it's a great thing about our community,
I remember when we moved the West Palm store, how many people were there to just help too. I mean, you had employees there, but like, I showed up. I think I was there the whole day, moving shopping carts full of cigars.
Yeah. We had a lot of our patrons there.
People just helping.
Yeah.
It was awesome. It was an awesome time.
And then
I love that kind of stuff though. That stuff's fun.
And then then they became the scavengers at the end. Are you throwing this out? Yeah. Can I take it home? All yours.
Yep.
All yours. One less thing.
That's part of the work, right?
Yeah. Take it.
I think one of the guys took a bar stool or something from the bar in there, from that little table over there. He's like, "You gonna get rid of this or no?" You can. He's like, "No, you can have it."
That people still have over the years is literally mind blowing, and they show me. We had in December of 2010, we had the original Tatuaje Anarchy launch. So that's 11 years ago, and we had bought in a Dodge Durango, I think it was. From a junkyard. We spray painted it with anarchy symbols and everything. And then people got to take a sledgehammer to it. And then that wasn't enough. They started ripping parts of the car off and having me and Pete sign parts of the car. Someone just last year came in with the window shade that they broken off and had Pete sign.
Oh my God.
People keep stuff. I mean, I keep stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah, I got all my stuff over the years.
Yeah,
So
you have a
Father's Day to all the fathers in the room and all the fathers out there.
Yes.
You know, we hope you have an enjoyable day and that you get treated well. You know, you got anything planned for Father's Day, Paul? I mean, are you the real father?
Wait, that's still yet to be found out. Actually, you know, it's funny. I saw a friend yesterday that I haven't seen in probably since I moved to Florida. So 6 years, we bumped into each other, and I had the boys with me, and he legit said to me, "Whose kids are those?"
That's
Because
great.
of blonde hair, blue eyed. I was like, "Wow, you're as much of an asshole as I remember you being." You know, joking around. He's like, "No, these are really your kids." I'm like, "Shut up, dude. My wife is blonde hair, blue eyes." So I don't know what we're gonna do. We'll probably get breakfast, and then my parents are having a little shindig over at their house. So it's a little bit of a trip from here. It's 3.2 miles from where I'm staying.
When your boys start breaking 6 feet tall, you might want to get that DNA test.
Well, no, because Stephanie's dad's probably 6'3".
Are they tall?
Her brother's pretty big, and they're big guys too. Like they're huge. I'm like the little twerp in that side of the family.
It's really funny because my grandfather was a huge man. I posted his picture up recently.
Yeah.
With my father, he was a big dude, 6'5", 6'4". I mean, just
yeah.
His first wife died after they had 2 boys, and those 2 boys were all thin, full heads of hair. They were all 6'5" or taller. All my cousins from them are all 6'4" or taller. Then after my first grandmother, who I never knew, passed away, he remarried the grandmother that I grew up with and knew. And he had 8 more kids. All right. He had another 6 boys and 2 girls. And they're all about 5'8" to 5'10", all short, round, and bald. And if you look at all their kids, including my brother, my cousins, they're all like 5'8", 9 or 10 feet tall, and they're all petite or small people. I just got my grandfather's genes. I mean, literally, like on parents' night, senior year of football, I'm walking out in the field, and they're like, "All right, well, whose parents are those?" You know, because both my parents were tiny, and I'm standing towering over them, huge. But yeah, I got my grandfather's genes, so yeah, it does happen.
I think that Eli is going to be the tall one. In all honesty, the younger one, he's going to skyrocket. Axel, I'm not sure which way he's going to go, but Eli's going to be a linebacker for sure.
It's hard to tell, man. My baby girl just like sprouted. She's equal size now to her older sister, the middle daughter.
Oh, really?
Man, I look at them like a block away down, like if they're playing outside. I can't tell who's who anymore. So yeah, so you can't tell they sprout.
No, you really can't. Like I was showing you the picture the other day, 2 years ago. You know, Asher like towered over Carmine, and now they're almost neck and neck in height.
Yep.
So what are you doing for Father's Day, Alex? Maybe having a baby?
Maybe having a baby. That's possible. That's possible. Yeah. Other than that, as little as possible. I'm kind of make it an easy day. You know?
Agreed.
If I get to pick, I'm just relax.
Well, we're hitting the road like at probably 9 or 10 p.m.
Right.
Sunday night. So we're just going to chill and get ready. Because, we do like this thing on vacation. We drive 1 year, fly 1 year to a destination. So this is going to be our drive year. So I like to hit road trips like starting like 9, 10 o'clock at night because all the kids go to bed.
Yes, that's exactly what we do when we drive.
Hey, everybody goes to bed. I do my first 6, 7, 8 hour stint.
Right. The roads are clear.
We wake up, we hit breakfast. I pass out. My wife or my sister-in-law takes over, and I'm good to go.
Yeah, that's exactly what we do. There's no other way to travel, especially when they're younger, because it's just impossible to drive anywhere.
Even when they're older, 6 hours, 7 hours, 8 hours in a car.
It's a long time.
It's a long time. Let them sleep through it, man. They'll wake up and we'll be a few hours away left. We'll have breakfast. Left. So it'll be tolerable. In those 3 hours, 3 or 4 hours, I'll sleep probably the whole way.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we did here. I drove 9 hours straight from South Carolina. Then my wife drove like 2. Then I had to drive the rest of the way because she got tired. Even though I drove through the night.
I can never. I need to make sure she's not watching. But yeah, my wife.
I'm sure she is.
My wife.
Your wife. I didn't see her come on.
Yeah, my wife, like literally, like on road trips, like it'd be her stint. And like literally like an hour and a half into it, she'll start tapping me. I can't drive. I'm sleeping. I'm like, you just got the wheel.
Exactly the same
That's how it
thing.
goes.
Exactly the same thing.
But you know,
Which
she
is
has,
fine. I
she has
don't
road-
mind. I just need a little bit of time.
Right, I agree. Right, just give me that hour. I'll take it.
She has road warriored it once or twice where she's driven a stint of the trip, but most of the time, yeah. Listen, you give me a bag of sunflower seeds, an empty cup.
Exactly. That's the.
I could drive
100%
forever.
right.
Yeah, my rule is I'll go until like the trees start bending, and I know I'm like all right, it's time for me to stop.
Abe, do you use on your car? Because I think you have it too. Like we have the lane keeping assist and the adaptive cruise control. Do you use that on these long trips or no? Because I started off using it and then I wasn't comfortable with it because I thought I was getting too relaxed.
The only problem with the lane assist is if you don't signal when you change lanes, it wants to.
You can't change it.
Right.
Yeah,
It wants to veer you back on the road, which I find a little bit annoying.
No, God forbid you signal.
Yeah, it's from Chicago. They don't.
God forbid you signal.
When there's not 10.
When there's nobody on the road, I agree.
Yeah, when you're on the road, there's not a car for miles. Who are you signaling for?
But no, I have that same problem too, Paul. I mean, my lane assist will completely drive itself. I mean, through like curves and all. And right, you get a little too comfortable.
I'll use it like driving up to Disney because it's like literally one road. But you know, when we get especially up to like the DC area and stuff, I don't stay on 95. We veer off and go our own way. But I don't know. It like I felt like I was getting too relaxed with it, so I didn't use it. It sounds like it would be great, but unless you have a Tesla, I don't think you can really rely on it.
Chrissy Crisfield says jerky. See, I like jerky too, but the problem is you can't do long periods of jerky because then your muscles all in here and your jaw just can't take it. You can only do jerky for like a little bit, but I could literally chew on sunflower seeds for like 5 hours. You know, I mean, like, you know, nonstop.
I feel like you haven't eaten anything. You don't.
It's just keep your mouth moving and stay awake.
Yeah, my mother-in-law has always bought us sunflower seeds when we leave to go back to Florida. Since I've been married, she's always like, "That's the best way to stay awake," and she's right. I do it all the time.
You know, I could put I put like a whole handful in my mouth at a time.
Look, it's cool.
You're doing chew, and then it's just eat them one by one and spit them in a cup.
It's Coop, Mr. Anti-Technology.
What's Mr. Coop said? No cruising on lanes, says drive old school. Yeah, Coop's got his feet coming out of the bottom of the cup.
Barney Rubble.
Yeah.
Drive old school. Meanwhile, the guy's got a brand new Lexus that he's driving.
Right.
I'm old school.
You know, Charlie Creekmore just made a comment about the Domino's thing. Is that a real thing? I thought that commercial was a spoof.
Well, I guess they're testing it. I think it's true that they're testing it, but they're not using it anywhere.
They will.
They can't. It's not legal yet. Will.
The minute they got to pay a delivery driver $15 an hour. There'll be a computer dropping off your pizza.
Well, hey, that's all for that. Raise that minimum wage. The minute they got paid $15 an hour.
Well, since we're talking about food, should we bring on our first guest and surprise?
Yeah, let's bring him on, man. I forgot he was even on the show.
Yeah, what's he doing here anyway?
I mean, honestly, why I don't even like to book him anymore since we don't have a studio he can come into because this is just so worthless to me now.
I know.
It literally is worthless. Who gives a shit about having Evan Darnell if he ain't able to bring in a tray of food?
Well, actually, I sent a driverless truck right now to your studio.
That's funny. The Secretary of State himself with his bleached Smoke Inn tumbler. What is going on, my friend?
What's going on? I figured it's been a minute since I've been on the show, and I missed you.
Oh. You have anything special planned for Father's Day? You got a couple youngins yourself.
Well, thank you for asking, and I appreciate the segue. Right there.
Whoa.
Yeah. That's a prime, clean fillet.
So that's going to be enough for Tyler. What about everybody else?
Yeah.
That's it's about 5 pounds of perfection.
Wow.
It's actually my go-to cut when I have like more than 8 people over that aren't all no-necked men. So I'll make a fillet.
It looks like an arm.
Yeah, it is.
It's like an arm with a fist.
It's a cow's arm.
It's huge.
I'll tell you what, though. I don't know if you guys have seen the price of meat is it's up 20% in the last moment.
Yeah.
it used to, that same beef used to cost $22.99 a pound. Now I bought it, it was $29.99, which is, in percentage, that's pretty significant.
Yeah.
So I'm sure people that are watching this show are going to go through the same thing. Normally I'll get my meat from like one of my favorite butcher shops and they'll just send over a box of meat. I actually went out and got this, so I haven't looked at the price in a minute. So yeah, it's up a lot. I'm sure that there's a lot of industries that are saying the same thing. But
Christy says that that's a nice hunk of meat. And I'm sure she likes the filet too.
yeah, right. So Abe, I see what's great about working with Abe is I just tell him things after the fact. He gets really upset and then I think he's getting used to it. But we have this event at my favorite event space, which is going to be literally you could walk from the mothership in Boynton to my car museum.
It's literally one of the coolest places I've ever had.
Yeah, it is.
It
really is.
I've seen the pictures.
Yeah.
And so that's Wednesday, June 30th. And what's really cool about it is that I
we
found.
got the Anonymous launch that night. Oh, no.
Do you really?
Oh, no.
Well, the good news is I could deliver food to you.
Make me a to-go plate, man.
I'm totally going to make you a to-go plate.
I mean, I was
we need a delivery.
Right around the corner.
We're gonna be stuck here. Yeah, we need a delivery.
we have the Anonymous dropping that night. What time's the dinner start?
Starts at 7. It goes till 10. But then we're going to walk over. We're going to come visit you.
But yeah, we're dropping the Anonymous on the 30th.
Wow.
Those will go perfect with a nice steak.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
So please walk over.
I'll deliver.
No. Those go perfect with a nice steak.
Oh, I
well,
can't believe.
got those all ready to go.
Yes.
So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to pop on is so at our events, as you know, they're beautiful. I'm being distracted. As you know, at our events, we're really celebrating red meat, philanthropy, business networking, and cigars. And we've always had really great partnerships with different cigar companies.
No more.
No more. Now have. And people don't believe me. I literally have zero meat presses left. We've never had the ability to feature our own cigar at our events because there was never enough cigars.
Gone.
Right.
So now, big news. We're going to have an event-only cigar package, and we're going to be able to feature them at our events.
Now, Steve Saka just sent me a pack of these in the mail. This is what they'll come. We're making a little. This is like a temporary because Steve wanted to get Evan some enough for his events coming up. He's got some events coming up in the fall. Steve wanted to get Evan some cigars as early as possible. So this is just like a temporary wrap, but we'll be using it. We're getting a sticker that'll go on the front of this, but this will be the ones that if you go to any Red Meat Lovers event anywhere, these will be the cigars you'll be partaking in from now on, which would only make sense and rightfully so.
It would only make sense. Right. I've never had that ability. Now I have that ability. So I am.
This is a unique size.
I know where I'm going after the show. I'm going right to Smoke Inn, and I'm going to tell Abe to take a walk to Dunkin' Donuts while I raid his desk. I'm really excited about it. So June 30th, we have that event. They're not going to be available, but I'm so jealous that you're holding them. But we have some really cool stuff. Oh, and then we're also going to Nashville. So that's going to be August 11th to the 13th as a club. And hopefully we'll be able to feature our cigar if we have them in time in Nashville. We're working with Casa de Monte Cristo, and it's going to be really great. So that's August 11th to the 13th. Hopefully we'll be able to have our cigars in time. If not, I'm not worried about it because there's going to be plenty of other events to really feature our. I don't know. I don't think I've been on the show since we sold. I feel like it was that day. It went gangbusters, or that 2 weeks. But I'm so excited to have them back, and I mean, I feel like it really completes our events.
Absolutely,
it brings it all together.
Why we didn't think of it sooner is mind blowing. Honestly,
I I mean, keep in mind, I mean, like it all goes back to we just didn't know anything in March.
It's always such a like pulling your nails off with pliers anytime we're asking Saka for anything.
Oh God,
that's really what it comes down to. You know, Steve, I know we're gonna buy a lot more cigars and promote. But is there any way you can make even an event to back and then I got to hear the really. You want me to make more cigars? What do you think? I do this for a living.
Right.
Well, there is some really fun stuff on the horizon. We got some really great events, and I'm really looking forward. Finally, to have. We've done about 100. It's funny, when we first met, I was on event 8. I think I'm at event 130 because Eventbrite keeps track of every event.
Was that what was it called again when you eat with your hands? Beefsteak?
Yeah.
Was that beefsteak event really your 8th one?
Yeah,
really?
It really was.
Oh, okay.
It was. We used to do it once a month. Now I'm up to 2 or 3 times a month throughout the country.
Well, what I'm really looking forward to is finally going back to a physical great smoke. And the thing is, I hate telling Evan anything that we have planned. Because the second I do, I open myself the door to like Texas
and ideas.
24 hours a day, all day long for shit that's like 10 months away. And like he's already sending me pictures because we got the last luau for the great smoke. He's sending me pictures of like roasted pigs on tray.
Oh, not only that,
15 of these across the table.
I've already ordered the custom Red Meat Lovers Club pig meat grabbers that every guest will get at the table.
He sent me his pictures.
I already got them. They've been ordered.
Meat tong with his logo.
With our logo. So I'm envisioning. You're getting me all excited. So one table, 160 dudes, and some amazing women. And so in front of everyone is going to be these like meat grabbers. They're going to have our logo on it, and you're going to be able to just
from Shark Tank where you eat like this.
Well, you're going to be grabbing luau pig, right down the middle. Like I'm so excited. Like that's going to be. I have 2 years to like plan this thing.
Will this be your first event that doesn't have red meat?
We'll have red meat. It'll be the first.
I was going to say, I feel like red meat will find its way into.
Yeah, I was going to say he can't help himself.
I can't help myself, but it'll be the first event.
Filet mignon stuffed roast pigs.
Right.
He just went, "Oh my God, that's a great idea."
It really is. It's going to be the new turducken. We're going to come up with a word for that. Yeah, but that's going to be the first event. By then, we'll have 150 events under our belt. The first event where I'm really featuring not red meat as the entree. First time. And well worth it. I mean, who gets the opportunity to create an amazing luau for these peeps? Cool. It's going to be. I cannot. I mean, I'm sure you've already started
just putting this out there right now because never in our lives have we experienced so much great smoke talk. 8 months.
Really,
prior. We usually don't even start talking about it till like November, October.
Right.
Hotel rooms have been booked, flights have been made, but I'm telling you, if you've never been, and a lot of them have been epic, but if you've never been to a Great Smoke pre-event dinner, this is the one you want to go to.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Is it possible? I mean, I'm sure it is to sell out the Great Smoke, but there's 2 years of people we're so excited, I think, to just get back together.
Yeah.
And look, obviously the virtual was, I'm still blown away by how much work and how well executed it worked for you guys. And I'm happy that you were able to do the virtual. I think it was just a cool moment in time. But this Great Smoke, man, it's going to be really special. Yeah. I'm so excited for it.
So, Evan, outside of your event on June 30th, what else you got going on?
So we have July 30th. I'm doing an event for Atlantic Football High School It's going to be at the new food hall in Delray Beach. We're doing a food hall takeover. And what's really cool about that one is we're raising money for Atlantic Football High School, but the players are going to be the ones that are going to be helping serve and really putting a face behind the charity. Not every, I'm learning, it's like not every high school has the means, even in public schools, that the other ones do and don't have. So we're going to try to even out the playing field. See what I did there? Yeah. And we're going to be raising money for Atlantic High School. And then August, we have Nashville. October, we're doing one of the bigger events I've ever done, which is the official Real Men Wear Pink charity dinner. They've never done that before. It's going to be a really cool exotic car dealership. And then I want to plan Scottsdale and New Jersey / New York coming up. I think those are going to be really good cities for us. So awesome. Look out for that.
You're missing something, bro. I mean, you might as well throw it out there. The
What's
Secretary
that?
of Sweat. What do you got started, bro? I mean,
so, I wasn't sure if I was going to talk about that.
Talk about it.
So, look, you inspired me. The Hard 75 is something that I've seen you talk about, and so I'm going to start. I wanted to get our club involved in it because it's all about yin and yang in my life. Yes, you can have amazing cigars and lots of meat, but you have to counteract it with something. So I thought Hard 75 would be something to do. So starting Monday, I figured Monday would be a good starting point, is that we got a bunch of people involved at we started a group. It's not a club, Red Meat Hard 75. It's a group. Everyone's welcome to join. And we're going to do this together. It's all about accountability. Hopefully that will springboard me into something different, whether it be running again. Surprisingly, I ran the 09 and 10 New York City Marathon. Not much smaller than I am now, but I want to see what we can do together. I feel like our whole club, similar to Smoke Inn, it's being united together. I think that's what makes Smoke Inn really important, is that, the camaraderie. And so we're going to do the same thing with Red Meat Lovers Club. So we're going to try it, and it's going to start Monday. And some people are already doing it, which is cool. So they can be our guiding points.
And anybody watching who wants to get more connected, they could join your Facebook group.
Yep. Facebook group, exactly. It's private. Everyone who obviously already watches KMA is already approved. Find us at Red Meat Lovers Club on Facebook. We have Instagram, Red Meat Lovers Club, and I have a very new special account, Mr. Commander in Beef, just started this week.
I saw that. Yeah.
I'm going to be promoting my president, my son Tyler, and his little escapade. So now I get to run the page. My wife won't be running. It'll be hilarious. I promise you that.
Cool. Looking forward to that. All right, Evan. Well, if I don't see you beforehand, we'll definitely see you on the 30th.
Yeah, I look forward to that.
Evan.
Dude, it's my birthday on the 30th. You got to bring food back.
I'll bring you a steak cakin'.
A steak
cakin'.
cakin'. Yes.
I own that website too.
I'm sure you do. I'm totally not surprised.
Sounds about right.
Good seeing you guys.
Take care, Evan.
Thanks, Cam.
Secretary of Steak himself telling you how it's going to be. Dude, working with him is literally a colossal roller coaster ride.
Oh, yeah.
He'll send me any idea, no matter how stupid it is, no matter how great it is, at any moment of the day. What do you think?
Right. I love it because I'll walk in your office and you'll be like, read this. Just read this.
He's also a texter that doesn't send just one text.
No.
He does
But then it'll be funny because I'm like, oh, well, what are you going to say? He's like, nothing. I'm not even going to respond to it. Nothing.
Yeah, I can't even say anything to some of the ideas. All right, we've had our Meet Your Maker patiently in the wings, Paul. Let's start that part of the show.
All right.
I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell.
It's time to meet your maker.
So we've heard a lot about him on social media. We've seen the cigars posted almost virally across the cigar social media pages, and now he is here with us, Sebastien Decoppet. He is from Cavalier Cigars, the Smoke Gold, Stay Gold. I think I got your slogan right, didn't I, Sebastien?
You did.
Well,
Good morning. Thank you for having me
for the first time.
Good morning.
Yeah, really excited. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
So Sebastien, you have kind of a very unique past, not only just in the industry, just from a lot of people that we speak to, because you grew up in Switzerland, right?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I was born in Zurich, Switzerland, and then moved when I was like a tiny kid, a year and a half or something, to Geneva. So basically grew up in Geneva, Switzerland, which is a good start for cigars usually.
Yeah, but that's not where your cigar journey really started, right? I mean, when you grew up and started working, you were more in the corporate world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so very early stage I started working. So it's pretty fun because I come out of that family where if you didn't study, it was kind of fucked up. You were like the pariah or whatever from the family, and everybody was like, you're gonna screw up your life and blah 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 and everything. I was like, I don't really care. I just took the risk. I needed to see something else and see something different. And so yeah, I started working when I was 18 in the corporate world. Did a couple of years, four-ish years in that world, which was a great experience. It's just I don't know. I feel like there are some people that can do it and others that can't. And I think I really was in these people that couldn't do it. So it was a good experience. But then it was starting to discover, it allowed me, at least it opened the door to, getting interest into cigars, being in Geneva, having access to it that early, 18 is legal. 16 was legal at the time in Switzerland for tobacco. So very early, I was kind of intrigued. It took a little while to get into it, but yeah, it was a kind of weird little start of the path for me, which ended up pretty good though. But it's like you need to take some risks sometimes.
But then, kind of randomly, in the early 2000s, you made a pretty drastic change in your life. So tell us about how that started and what you did.
Yeah, it was actually not so long ago. It was seven years ago, something like this. I was in my early 20s, and I had gotten to that point where I fell into cigars, but it was a very personal thing. I wasn't sharing, didn't know anybody. It was just my little private thing for myself, and I knew I didn't want to continue working that corporate world and everything. So I just one day just decided to get rid of everything and take a plane ticket, move to Central America. I was like, yeah, speaking English should be all good, and everybody speaks English, right? And that was a pretty big mistake on my part. But I think literally, I really was in that time in life where you don't care about anything. Early 20s, nothing really, nothing worries you or anything. So I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go. And the day before leaving, I always remember one of my neighbors telling me, so you're going to Honduras, you're moving. I was like, yeah, I'm going to Central America. I'm going to see wherever I end up, I'll figure it out. And she was like, Honduras is one of the most dangerous countries in the world. I was like, no, I had no idea. Thank you. That sounds great.
Good to know.
Let's try it. Let's try my luck. We'll see. No, and I mean, that was probably the best decision of my life, right? Everything it changed literally everything. And I feel really blessed and very. But
you literally
very happy
sold.
to have done that.
You just kind of
sold everything I had.
Sold
yeah,
everything you had.
Yeah. The thing was, I really wanted to see what tobacco was about. There are different, faces of tobacco, different sides of it, and I just figured I don't know how I just fell in love so much with the product. I was like, if I like it that much, and I anyways don't want to continue doing what I'm doing, why don't I just, I mean, I don't have any specific attaches, then just my parents, my brother there, but that was it. So it's like, what holds me up, I could sell any material thing I have, material come and goes, it really doesn't matter. And just go and see it. If I like it, let's see if I really like it. Took the plane, got there, and once there, it's been a very interesting thing. I've been very lucky because I very quickly, after the whole mess, when I arrived, they lost obviously the luggage. When they found it, I had half of it in there and all that crap. So it started pretty well, like always. Like every good trip starts with some screw ups like this. So you're in Honduras, you're on the other side of the planet. You don't know where you are. You don't know anybody. You have half of your clothes, and you have one pair of shoes left. Like, well, I'll figure that out. And I remember the funniest part. I think one of the things that still makes me laugh nowadays is I remember going to when they finally got that half of my luggage back. Going down to the hotel reception, that was one of the only person I spoke kind of English to. I didn't speak a word of Spanish at the time. And I went to the reception. I was like, hey, I need to go to, I looked at the map. I saw Copan, Danlí. I was like, well, Danlí is closer. I was in Tegucigalpa. I was like, I need to go to Danlí. Where's the train to go there? And they just looked at me like this. She was like, the fuck is he talking about? The train? Yeah, there was a train on the coast for bananas and stuff like this. There's no train here. You come from Europe, there are trains everywhere. So you just figure like an idiot, there's going to be trains everywhere in the world. Yeah, that was amazing. So she was like, no, so if you want that, you're going to have to take a cab. I was like, oh, those cabs. Okay. So you're going to have to take a cab, go to that place where it's called Rapiditos. So it's those, for everybody has been, went down there, they're going to know what I'm talking about. It's those tiny little buses where once you've taken them, you know that you're just basically taking a risk. It's probably more risky to be in one of those buses than actually land at this Toncontin airport in Honduras, which is saying something, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, and I don't know, those guys drive like crazy people. I don't know how they do it. They're literally, the road from Tegucigalpa to Danlí is like it's a little better now. They're redoing everything. So half of the way is good now, but the other half is still what it was. And it's like holes everywhere. But when I say holes, it's like you could do a pool in the hole. I think you just put a little bit of water, wait for some rain.
Oh my God.
And you put your, rubber ducks and stuff, and you can.
It's a very treacherous drive.
Yeah. But what a beautiful landscape. What a beautiful landscape. And man, I got there, and I remember sitting in the park. So arriving in Danlí, finally finding a hotel because I didn't know anything. I had taken a hotel for the first night, which that was it. And then that wasn't Tegucigalpa. So I get there, I'm like, I'm going to find something. Found a hotel, and I don't know what to do. I don't know any factory. I don't know anybody, I'm like, so now what? So I just said, you know what? I didn't smoke a cigar for a couple of days. Let's just take one of my cigars, walk a little bit, sit down somewhere I feel comfortable, and smoke a cigar, and I'll figure it out. And I went to, for the people that have been in Danlí, there is that Parque Central with the church and everything, which is a very green, very beautiful little place in the center of the town. And start smoking a cigar, which nowadays, if you try to, they're going to tell you to stop smoking in there most of the time, but that's another story. And the guy pulls up with in a pickup and goes down and is like, what are you doing here? When you're well, first of all, when you're not local, everybody's gringo, right? So I was like, hey, you have that gringo face. What are you doing here? Like, I don't know. I came. I want to see, if I can figure out something and learn about tobacco. The guy's like, come with me. And
was your intention at this time when you were down there exploring like an explorer? Was your intention to create a brand, or were you just going there just to learn, not really sure what you were going to do?
Yeah, I wasn't really sure. I wanted to I kind of knew I wanted to do something about it. I just wasn't sure. And the first step was really to see if I was already right in the idea of really liking it and wanting to do something about it. But the brand was one option in whatever the options were, of doing something. So that was still kind of a hit or miss. It was, let's see. So yeah, it all fell down. It all came together pretty well at the end, but that was That was not a sure thing at the time. And yeah, the guy that picked me up, actually, I didn't, you're in a city you don't know. The guy speaks English in a way, it's easier if he spoke Spanish to me, even though I didn't speak Spanish. It was bad. And well, you don't know the guy. You're in a country you don't know. You don't know anybody. You don't have a number there. You don't have anything. You don't have Wi-Fi. It's like you're like, okay, if I go into that car and the guy is a psychopath, I'm just gonna end up dead in the mountains somewhere, or I'm lucky and I end up in a factory. So you know what, 50-50, let's go. So I went
that early 20s mentality.
yeah, it's you don't care. You kind of think quickly and you're like, yeah, that's not too bad. I've seen worse. So I just went into the car, and it's true when you think about it after, you're like, that was maybe not very considerate, like not a very completely thought, process or something. But
So
again,
who was this guy and
that's
where
I
did he
think that's
take
where
you?
the best things happen. So that guy
who was this
was,
guy? Where did he
I
take
learned
you?
it later, was Adin Perez. So Adin is the nephew of Nestor Plasencia. So, and I had no idea.
Plasencia has more cousins, nephews,
Oh shit!
and relatives
Incredible.
than anybody in the world.
The entire family, the entire industry is family of Nestor. It's crazy.
I think Nestor is like 2 degrees of separation from everybody in the cigar.
Something like that. It was funny. So he brought me to the factory he had at the time, showed me around, and I was like a kid. I'm like, oh shit, that's a factory? That's how it looks like? I had never seen it. I mean, in the best case, I had seen some pictures on Google, and I was like, oh my goodness, that's where I want to be.
How many pairs did he have at the time?
So the factory the one he had was fluctuating. So that was Adin's factory. That was, give or take, he's always been fluctuating between 100 to 200 employees.
Oh, so it was a big factory. It wasn't small. It wasn't a small place.
No,
I mean, it's not huge,
yes,
but
no, it's not huge. No.
Factory.
That factory, that exact factory had been created by Adin's grandfather for a brand that was mainly available in Europe, and with the help of Nestor at the time, 15 years prior to that, more or less. So the factory was actually, it still exists. It's just not from him anymore, but it still exists. So he brought me there, and I was like, oh, when you see that the first time, and me like a kid at the time, I was just under the charm of the thing. And he saw that, and he was like, okay, it seems you like it. Let me show you something else. So we hopped on the car for a second time, like, hey, if I didn't die the first time, second time won't die either, right? So got into the car, and I didn't even pay attention. I was just like in this, excited state where I didn't understand what was happening. We're just happy, and we just pop in front of a huge facility, and the door opens, and I was so excited I couldn't even, my brain didn't even process reading what was on the wall, right? And we go in there, and I see a couple of men standing. I was like, one of the faces I know, but I don't know who it is. I just feel like I've seen that face. And we go down the car, and so the second person I met down there was actually Don Nestor. That was one of Nestor's facilities, Nestor's fabricas. And that's really how it started. I just remember that time, Adin so Adin and Nestor and a lot of people in the industry like to make quite a bit of fun of Adin for some reason. And there were the only thing I know is I didn't understand literally nearly anything because they were speaking Spanish most of the time. I just know Nestor was making fun of Adin, and Adin was trying to tell him, go back with me, and Nestor was like, no, you don't want to go with that guy, right? Stay with us. And just sitting there in the middle of me like, what is happening? That's the industry? Okay, I like it, let's figure it out. And so I left again with Adin after checking it around, and that's where it started. I started going every day to the factory. Started after it takes a while. When you look at how I'm still like amazed the skills of those people. I worked in nearly every possible position in a factory. I lived down there with these guys for a year at that time. And working at a factory, being a roller, bonchero, rolero, empaque, Despalillo, secado, pilones, like everything. I really went through like all those processes because it was needed, but it was something I wanted to see. And when I see how efficient those people were, it took me like 2 or 3 months to say, okay, let me try to do el bonche. Let me try to do the first step, in the rolling process. And I was after that, after rolling for a couple of months, I was doing, give or take, 110, 120 cigars a day. Those guys have like 2 weeks to learn, or 3, and they have to do 350, 450 cigars a day. I've never been able to do that. So I still, that all my respect to those people, because it's really an art. And I think they're not, they're not showcased enough, not promoted enough amongst us consumers also, and on our side of the industry, which is the market, right? But yeah, that's really been down there a little. It was a strange start, but it really worked out well, and I'd never change anything. That was just amazing, I think.
At what point now in this process of your education do you, I mean, I'm looking at a sheet here with a lot of facts, but was creating the brand the first step into really entering the industry, or was the acquisition of a retail shop? What was the evolution of how you got in the business?
So at the end, before, deciding it was time to go back to Switzerland and actually do something about it, I had decided to create a brand. So I did blend the first cigar, which was a white series, which was the cigar the line that you guys were smoking right now. And that was during that process. So I had decided at the time, before leaving, that the brand was what I was going to start with and do. And so that was, once I had that blend, it was actually very interesting, because by working during a year, give or take, with the tobaccos yourself, when you start, living in that, literally, how do you say it? Like, like living in it and on a daily basis, you start figuring out, okay, this I think I want to use, this seems to go well together, and you start going this way. So that's how the first blend started. And from there, I remember, and that was a strange thing. So we had never talked about minimums, and they never did. They were like, okay, you want to do something, so that's okay. Let's go through the blend process. You have an idea, yes? So blah, blah, blah. We did our tests and everything. Came out with a white. And I was like, yeah, I need to go back home and see what I can do with it, And it was like, okay, how many cigars do you want? I don't remember if it was. So I had done two sizes. And it was like, if I remember well, I ordered 100 of each, 100 of each. And he was like, okay, let's do it. After messing around with his tobacco, screwing, I don't know how many wrappers a day in this and that, he still was like, yeah, whatever, let's do it. So he rolled me those cigars. I had no bands, no branding, nothing. I was like, yeah, you know what? Let me just take those cigars with me and go see shops in Geneva and Switzerland and stuff. So I finally got back to Switzerland, and I was like, man, I know how to roll. I know the process, fermentation, and this.
Roughly now, what year are you at now?
That was give or take a year later. So that was somewhere 5-6 years ago or something like this.
Okay.
Give or take. Getting back to Geneva.
About 2015.
Yeah, give or take about that. And that's more or less when I did the process. It was my first company, so I had to start everything. I had no idea what I was doing once again, just to change, the habits. And I remember going out I was literally alone. I had nothing, nobody. I didn't have any capacity to employ anybody. I was just literally alone. I was like, okay, now it's time to go and hustle a little bit, right? So I remember going out and thinking, I know how to roll a cigar. I know how to do empaque. I know the fermentation process. Been to the fields, did that, did this. I have no fucking clue how to sell shit. I've never sold shit in my life. I don't know how to sell a cigar. I don't even know where to go. That was that's where I really thought, like, yeah, that might not have been a good decision. Actually, it might have been a pretty bad decision.
Luckily, you only made 4 boxes of each. So
Yeah.
you didn't have a lot of pressure, at least,
No.
Right.
No, but I really wanted to do something out of it. I really was in the state of mind was, that's really something that I care about, and I want to do something about it. So there was kind of that pressure of being able to and prove a point too, I guess, right? Because I said, coming out, the family was all, out of the university, very much like career orientated, but in big corporations and stuff like this. And I was like, screw all that. I'll do whatever I want. And so basically, the pressure was more on, hey, so now you said that, let's prove it, because if you screw up, you're going to be the idiot now, And so there was some pressure. The amount of cigars were not the big deal, but the pressure of the whole,
saving
proving
face.
a point was there.
I want to
Yeah.
save face.
Yeah.
So, listen, Sebastian, we got to take a break. Don't go anywhere, folks. After the break, we're going to have our As the Record Spins section with Avo, season 2 of Tale of the Tape, obviously Insane Asylum. And we're going to talk to Sebastian as what eventually made him jump into making more than just 200 cigars and the evolution of the gold and the label. And we'll have more with him right after this. Don't go anywhere.
Surgeon General warning. Cigar smoking can cause cancers of the mouth and throat, even if you do not inhale. Without this rich and profound history, it only makes sense to showcase one of their popular cigars after Mr. Henry Clay. Receiving a top 10 spot in Cigar Aficionado's top 25 cigars, the Henry Clay Warhawk has top-notch construction while boasting with complex flavors. Cloaked in an Ecuadorian Connecticut shade wrapper with a Connecticut broadleaf binder and a Nicaraguan Criollo fillers, this medium to full-body smoke has flavor notes of toasted almonds, earth, and a peppery finish that pairs nicely with a lemonade. It is available in 3 sizes, Corona, Robusto, and Toro. If you're looking for a cigar that has an abundance of flavor and history, then this 95-rated Henry Clay Warhawk is the cigar for you. Surgeon General warning. Cigar smoking can cause cancers of the mouth and throat, even if you do not inhale.
Oh, hey. Being a dad's not easy. Gotta enjoy the little things. Ever hear of a sippy cup? Yeah, that's not apple juice. That's Sunal. Bonner Private Wines. Our friends over at Bonner Private Wines have a really, really great deal for KMA listeners right now. All you have to do is go to KMAWines.com, check it out, and we will give you a discount on shipping and a discount on the 3-bottle package. In that package is Sunal. It's a wine from 8,950 feet in the air. It's one of the hardest vineyards to get wine from. The vines are under stress, the wine is delicious, and it'll get you through days like these. When you have lots of things to do, and it feels like it will never end. So go to KMAWines.com and join the rest of us dads while we get our kids prepared for the day and just need that little extra kick. It's a Saturday. It's okay if we do day drinking. We're dads. We enjoy it. We're allowed to have some fun. Here you go, buddy. You have yours. I have mine. Cheers. KMA Wines. Oh, that's for daddy. KMAWines.com. Check it out. I saw the utter disappointment in Abe's face when that came.
I just don't know what kind of person can be abused about not doing their work or whatever, and just still not even be encouraged or motivated to say, hey, let me do something. To all our socialites out there, I'm pulling an Alan Rubin here.
Oh, shit.
All our socialites out there, I want you to tag Paul every day. Every day, tag Paul DeGracco and say, hey, Paul, when are you going to make a new commercial this week? The baby's agent called. Yeah, he really should. He deserved. He was a star of the ad.
That just made my day, I think.
You can't shame Paul to even doing his job. You can't even shame him into doing his job.
Yeah,
and the sad part is, with all his Broadway stories and how creative he is, and how
we did 5 ads.
I really thought this would be the one aspect of the job that he would actually really enjoy and at least have some vigor, because he really doesn't have any vigor in any other aspect of the job. So I really thought that this would be the one. So if I gave him a project that has to do with his passion in life, and he still doesn't do it every week, what does that tell you about the rest of the show? There, my rant is done. Thank you, Paul.
I'm already getting tagged.
Oh yeah. So before we get back into the cigars, Sebastian, we have a segment sponsored by Aloe Cigars. It's called As the Record Spins, and our good friend Eddie Guerra has a special question just for you.
Oh boy.
All right. So, as part of our As the Record Spins question, this is the question that Eddie Guerra wanted to ask you. When you're in a new situation or a new room with people, what is your best icebreaker? Do you have a specific story or something you like to do to break the ice in certain situations?
I don't think so. I guess it's.
Especially when you don't speak the language.
Yeah, no. I guess it's just bring up a beer or something. That usually works well.
Do you have that key phrase you use in Honduras? Do you speak any Spanish now?
Yeah. Oh yeah. My wife shouts at me in Spanish every day, so I had to learn.
Okay. So you picked up all the bad words.
Oh yeah, everything.
That's great. Well, there you have it. Hand a beer, hold a beer. Always a great icebreaker. And that is.
What about you, Abe? What do you do? I mean, you're usually in a unique situation because most of the time when you're meeting, at least people in the industry, they know who you are. But like, if you go into a room of strangers, what's your icebreaker?
I'm very, very, very reserved when I'm in a room full of people I don't know.
I have actually seen that. I've actually seen that.
Like, let me tell you something. Like, we lived in our neighborhood for like 11 years. I can only tell you one person who lives in our neighborhood. That's our next door neighbor because his daughter babysits our kids. I'm not really open until I get to know you. So I will, if I'm in a room with somewhere I'm unfamiliar with, I will sit and observe for a long time before I'll even start to interact or open up because, there's a lot of weird people out there, and I'm very more reserved before I'll open up. But then once I do it, I'm just naturally talkative, but and very gregarious. I just don't put it out there right away.
Right. It's interesting. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go for it.
I was going to say it's weird because in the industry, we're constantly in front of people, and a lot of time in front of people you don't know or don't know well, and in a way or another, I think the industry does its job itself. We just all know, anyways, that we're around a common interest or something. So the discussion most of the time flows fairly naturally, I'd say. I think. I don't know. It's really hard. I'm trying to figure out, thinking of something really that could be said or something to introduce. But usually it's fairly random. You have people from all different landscapes, all different backgrounds and everything. And there is always something or someone that just makes that spark go. And everybody starts talking without that much of oh shit, what am I going to say? What are they going to say? What are we all going to talk about? Which,
right.
It's very unique to the industry we're in, I think.
It's an art too to be able to do that. So I've met some masters at it where you can put, like, strangely enough, you could put my mother in the room of a bunch of like bikers that are big, tough guys. My mother's a short little Italian lady. She can walk into a room of 100 bikers that all look at her and hate her when she walks in the room and make friends with every single one of them. I've never seen my mother in a situation where she can't just speak to anybody about anything. She's got that gift, but there's some people that just have it, I think.
Who's the toughest? The little Italian lady or the bikers? I'd bet on the little Italian lady, to be honest.
She's pretty tough. But that's definitely, I have a hard time, like Abe, in all honesty, if I don't know what the common bond is between me and a group, it is difficult unless I'm the one up in front of the group speaking. But in I used to say when I was a kid, I was more comfortable sitting at a table with all the grandparents and the parents than I was being in a group of my peers.
For me, it's not a comfort issue at all. I'm very comfortable, honestly, in any setting. I could break the ice in any setting. I just don't put myself out there that fast, especially if it's a room full of, people I don't know, One of the shirts I designed, which is kind of, it was a joke because I said it once and somebody thought it was hilarious. He goes, "You should put that on a t-shirt," was, "I need less friends. I need more cigars." I mean, it's just one of those things. But once I'm in a situation, I have no problem being comfortable about it. I'm just reserved if I don't know people.
Right.
I just don't put
the other thing is there is so much in a position like that and especially on top of that when you're in retail and stuff, you're all day, every day in front of people, like all the time. Of course, the core people become your friends or people that you know well, but it's still something where you're in a constantly like. Whether you like it or not, you're going to have to be social the entire day. So I feel like when you go out of this setting, it's kind of nearly, normal that you kind of shut down a little bit and just say, I'd rather be in my little bubble or something instead of, again, go through the same process. Too much effort.
That's what I do at home. That's why I don't acknowledge anybody. Like people be waving at me when I'm driving in the neighborhood. I don't even know you. I don't even make eye contact. Why are you waving at me? I'm the same way. But like we're getting ready to go on a family trip. And everybody, "Oh, where you from?" I always try to teach my kids. You never tell anybody anything. Where you from? Florida? Yeah. "Oh, yeah. What part?" "South Florida." "Oh, yeah. Whereabouts?" Palm Beach County. And that's about all you're going to get out of me. I'm not telling you what I'm from. I'm not telling you what I do. What do you do? I'm in sales. I mean, there's no. I'm like giving people I don't know information. I mean, I just don't do that.
I'm back. What I missed, guys? Sorry, I had some back end stuff to do.
Yes. Alex had some work. Got it done.
That's okay.
Beautiful advertising. I think you missed.
We were just doing the Avo question, but we're gonna get back to our Meet Your Maker story because
and to start off Meet Your Maker, I just want to let all our fans know in recognition of having Sebastien on the show today, and that's kind of what Alex was working on last minute. In the background, we have a promotional code for Cavalier Cigars. I believe the code.
You want it up now?
Gold.
Yeah, man, I just made it full.
There it is. Use the code GOLD and you will get an additional 15% off. Good through tomorrow.
Very cool.
There you have it. It's Father's Day gift. Now, I got to ask about the formation of the label and this gold because I'm just about to break into it.
Right. That's where we were going to get into because there's a cool story behind how it came up, right, Sebastien?
Yeah, well, it's weird. There are two stories because it's really separate between the label, the first thing with the logo, and the gold, which is a second part of the story of the brand. I think if you want, you're going to break into the gold. So let's take the story on the wrong way and start from the finish. The main thing is when you've not been established for 20 years, 50 years, 100 years, whatever it is, in any kind of industry, right? You have to figure out a way to make a difference, right? You have to have an identity, and it has to mean something for the brand itself and people behind the brand, but it has that need to bring an additional something to your partners, to who you are, to what you offer. So I remember we started a brand just with regular paper bands. It was going well, but it was always, that thought process where what should we do? We need to make a difference. We need to do something, and we've been trying to go back and forth. It's very difficult when you talk about brand identity, especially early on. It's not something that is as clear as you might think. It's like an adolescent kid. He is still trying to figure out who he is, and trying to go, okay, what direction am I going in life or something? And a brand does a little bit the same thing. So you have a base identity, which is, whatever for a person, whatever your parents brought to you and life brought to you. But then there is, who am I going to be? And that was really the process. What are we going to do to have people actually, see and recognize who we are in an easy way, and at the same time have it make sense. No, you could do whatever you want, but if you just throw shit on your product, people are gonna be like, yeah, I mean, what is it for? Why? And it's not matching the visuals. It's not matching who you look like. What is it? So it was a very rough process, and with my wife, we were going back and forth at the time and trying to figure out something, and how we're going to make a difference. And everything that came to mind sucked. I mean, it sucked. It was bad, and
that can be frustrating. I've been there.
Yeah, it's really difficult. I bet you probably. I mean, everybody that's been in business probably has been through a period like this. I mean, there is always something. So the first thing is, before getting into this, yes, you can smoke through the gold. That's what it's made for. It's actual 24 karat gold, and so edible gold. The same thing you would eat on pastries and stuff like this. Okay. And just so you guys know, for the people who are not, that's always the first question when people are new to the brand. And I'm sure there are a lot of people who listen that have not, got into it yet, where the temperature of tobacco burning is much lower than the one you would need to melt gold. So it's really just gonna stay in the same shape onto your ash. That's not gonna change anything. It's not burning. And the whole process is completely natural. The gold is the purest quality you can have. You can actually eat it. So if you want to lick it off the wrapper, up to you. I wouldn't do it, but up to you. And basically, it's not going to do anything.
Now, what year did you start putting the gold on there?
So it was actually during the first year. It just took a couple of months to figure it out.
I don't know the timeline.
Around 50, between end of 15 and early 16. I'm not 100% sure yet.
Were you the first person to use gold on a cigar? Because I know there's another company that fully wraps a cigar in gold.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if we can mention people, but
it didn't bother me. I just didn't want to mention it. I just didn't know who was first, because I really don't know. No.
We were not. I mean, that other brand has been in the market for way longer than we've been. He's actually a humidor maker.
Yeah, I mean, it's a friend of ours. I mean, it's Daniel.
Yeah,
I know
Daniel Marshall,
but he, I know he has his cigars have been around for years. I sold them when I opened 25 years ago, but I've only seen the gold cigar, I don't know, in the last 4 or 5 years. So I really didn't know.
Yeah. I think he made it before. I think he definitely had it before us, but I don't know how long he's been doing it. I think it's more of a kind of limited stuff.
It is extremely.
So yeah, the main thing that we had was, we needed to keep the price range in the regular cigar price range market. That was the first deal with it. And so that had been achieved. And the other thing is, basically, for me, it had to be, so the approach is different, right? What we did is, for me, it was really, and that's going back to the story, that's the day my wife came back to me and she was like, I got it. What do you get? I know what we're going to do. We're going to put gold on the cigars. I was like, fuck, no. I don't want, and no offense, I just didn't want to do it. I was like, I want to see my wrapper. I want to see my tobacco. I care. I really cared about all this because of all the time I spent with the people down there, the respect I had, for them, their job and everything. I was like, that's not my vision of things. And all respect
it's the craft,
and everything
it's the
for
craft
everybody
you
else.
Learned.
Yeah. So I was like, no, I don't want to do that. And she's like, no, you don't. Just listen to me. They didn't understand. I was like, oh shit. Okay, there we go. And she's Latina, right? She's from Dunleavy, so you already know you're gonna get into trouble. So it was pretty bad. I was like, oh, okay, I'm going into troubles right now. He's like, no, look, she was redesigning the boxes in the first months, cleaning them up. We had like gold diamond patterns all over the boxes at the time, and she was trying to make it look cleaner, smoother. So she was taking that off the boxes everywhere. She was like, we're new, but something that people have been seeing from us is the gold colored diamond. So it was gold colored patterns of diamonds on the boxes. And I was like, yeah, that's right. She was like, why don't we use it as a secondary band? Why don't we use it as a band? And the main problem we had is, Cavalier, and it's Cavalier, it's Cavalier Geneva, Geneva for Switzerland, right? And so it's not something especially easy for a lot of cultures or different languages to pronounce or anything. You know, it's in English it's fine, but you have a lot of try it in Germany. Try it. I mean, we have people in Switzerland mispronounce the name for the past years, and they've been smoking the brand for the past years, and they still mispronounce the name. They're like, oh, Chevalier or something. You don't know, it's Cavalier.
Chevalier.
So yeah, it's. I mean, you know, it was like, what do we do? And putting that on fixed different things. So the first thing, it was on brand regarding what we were doing. You know, I think the brand, as much as my wife and I are all three kind of bipolar, right? In the way we approach things. And the brand has that personality where it has always been elegant in terms of presentation and everything. But we have that more street approach to things, to street art and stuff. And I think it's always been a little bit like this. So shocking was not that much of a problem. It was pretty good, actually. So we were like, let's do it. And the main thing with the diamond was, you know, how do you make people remember a name? A name is hard to remember. Try to remember the name of the guy that you just met in the street or something. You can't. It's really, really hard. Few people can do it, but it's really hard. We all have too much to think about and everything. So that's basically basic marketing, right? A symbol is extremely simple to remember. A symbol can be expressed in many different ways. We never told people how to, you know, talk about the brand, but immediately people started saying the gold diamond, you know? So it was like that second band became a symbol that actually made the brand more recognizable and more easy to talk about. Because you know, Abe, you guys are in retail, right? You go in a retail shop and that guy comes in and he's like, you know, that cigar you gave me 2 weeks ago with that red band, and you can be 90% sure the band was not red. It was probably blue or something.
Right.
And you turn in your humidor to red band. Are you fucking kidding me? I have like 5,000 SKUs of red bands. Which one? You know?
Yeah.
You know, it's funny because I was actually just going to chime in. You know, I have people that come into the shop and they'll say, you know, they smoke. Oh, I had this cigar. I don't remember what it's called, but it's got the gold. It's got the gold diamond on it. And I'm like, okay, absolutely. I know, even though they don't know the name, they know that cigar by the diamond if they didn't remember the name, and that's what they're looking for.
It's actually funny because it was a tricky decision still, because like you might have heard too, and we still hear it sometimes, you know, people are like, oh yeah, but it's a gimmick. So if it's a gimmick, the cigar is shit. So first of all, no, thank you. We really care about the tobaccos we use in the blendings and everything, and I think the ratings have pretty much been talking about it. I mean, people and everything. It's just a process of getting over that first step. Yes, it's kind of a gimmick. It's still brand identity for us, and I really stand behind it. But you can't do, and for the people that would think it's a gimmick, the main thing is you can't do a gimmicky cigar and not have a good product behind. You can get someone to try your cigar once. If it's just a gimmick, you're going to be there for 6 months, and that's where the whole thing comes in. It looks weird. It might look different. First, main thing is we're happy people remember it, and it really has been working out for us. And the second thing is we care about the tobaccos we put in. We care about the blends we do. We care about the quality and everything. So that kind of was the second step. We needed to make sure that everything stayed consistent with our philosophy of cigars, even though we were putting something a little off-putting, or not off-putting, but kind of destabilizing. People were like, "Wait, what the fuck is that? What the hell is that now?"
This unfortunately is becoming prolific of gimmicks in this industry, and I think when you talk about gimmicks, you talk about when you start copying other manufacturers' stuff, or you make parodies of existing brands, and guys are out there making labels on whatever cigar they could buy, and that, for me, that's gimmicky. They don't even care. They don't even care about the cigar. They throw a cool band of some childhood character on there, make a story, and they think it got something special. You could see the wrapper and the quality of the construction on this cigar. This has actually been an extremely enjoyable smoke. I don't consider that a gimmick. I consider that is the equivalent, like you said, of a band, right? This is no more for me looking at it as a gimmick than a pretty band on a cigar. Right. And for you, it served its purpose because, like Alex has said, I've heard it myself. Oh, do you have any of those cigars with the gold diamond? And that pretty much served the purpose of what it was for. But like you said, I've said it many times in the past, you can sell a cigar to anybody once. After that, it's the quality of the cigar. And this ash and this burn has been incredible the whole way through.
Turn it around so we can see the diamond on the ash.
It's doing exactly what he said. It's just laying on the ash as I smoke it.
And that's the other thing, right? You know, when I mean, there are two ways of approaching the industry in general. Like, and again, no offense to anybody, and I'm not, you know, trying to get at anybody there. There is just, it's too easy to make a cigar brand. There are too many people asking, hey, I want to do a cigar brand and stuff. I'm like, great. You know, I was in the same position. I want to do something. You know, I can't say it's a bad idea. I can't tell you, you know, fuck up, that's my market. It's not. I'm you know, I'm like, honestly, good. You want to do it, good. But it's too easy to make a cigar brand. It's an industry where you need to know what you're doing. I didn't know what I was doing when I started, but I first had to go there. I had to, you know, I didn't have that past of 100 years of Cuban, you know, family history and stuff. I wish I had. I didn't work for cigars before, so I had to learn. But if you want to do something, you can't. You know, you should, or at least my advice would be, you know, if you want to do something, go learn, do stuff. You know, try to figure out what you like, why you like it, and everything. First of all, because if you're not doing this, you're gonna get screwed over. That's the first thing. You're not gonna get. You're gonna get whatever the fuck you can. You need to have a control on what you're doing. And I think, again, it's too easy to just make a cigar nowadays, where you could just call a factory or call a shop and say, hey, do you know someone at a factory or something, or find someone at an event, and the guy's gonna say, yeah, we have a factory, can do a cigar for you. The problem is you don't know what you're doing. It's like, would you go into the stock market and start investing, you know, $250 million split between different accounts, portfolio and stuff in your portfolio and stuff, different, you know, placements, without even without having done it ever, just seeing it in TV or having a friend doing it? You wouldn't. I mean, you'd be crazy to do so. It's the same thing with the cigar industry.
Sebastien, it's always been easy to make a brand. I mean, it's always been easy. If you're willing to pay for it, anybody will make you a brand. But to make a brand that's successful and sells is a whole other entity. Well, I get asked advice all the time. I just had somebody call me from somewhere here in Florida, a friend of my wife's, one of my wife's aunts. And she had this guy call me. He wants to open up a retail shop, you know, and he wanted some advice. So I returned his call. And the number one thing I've always seen in the course of my life, whether it's cigar business, I don't care what business it's in, there's two things that I've seen everybody completely always underestimate, which leads to their failure, right? It's easy to open up a shop, but then what? What do you do, right? Two things is they underestimate the cost because they had no idea. And so they already start at below zero, negative going in. And they completely underestimate the sacrifice and dedication it takes. To be crazy. They think I'm going to be my own boss. I'll play golf in the afternoons. You know, this will be
20 years from now, maybe.
Yeah, if you're lucky, right?
If you're lucky, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, when this guy was telling me his story and how big his shop, so I said, my business, what's your budget? And when he told me his budget, I'm like, dude, that won't even build the bar. Forget about, you know, building a whole shop and a humidor and product. That doesn't even build your bar. Well, I know. I said, listen, I'm just going to do you a favor. Stop whatever you're doing. If you haven't signed a lease, don't sign a lease. Go work for a cigar shop. Go learn what it's really going to cost to do stuff. Because if you're building something based on, I know somebody or this person, and he's going to build that, yeah, you're already starting screwed up. You know, and most people just, I mean, it's easy to open up a place. It's easy to start a cigar line, but then what? So they underestimate the real cost of what it takes, and they start underfunded, and they completely underestimate the amount of dedication and sacrifice and work it's going to take to actually become successful or stay alive or, you know, make something of it. And I see that all the time.
And then, you know, you're going to hit like nice spots and bad spots, especially when you start. You might start. I remember we started well. and then we got some issues, and we just completely got, like, we took some really bad hit in the face. We entered the US, the brand started growing. We were opening, different countries and everything, and we got to the point where we lost the US for a year. So we went out of the US for a year, and that's why we moved here, right? After we're like, we need to fix that. And that's again, you're like, okay, I'm going to change my entire life again. Okay, I'll just do it, You have to be ready for those sacrifices. But you if you're not ready for that, it's going to go up, down, and everything until you find that spot where it takes time for people to understand that you're here, what you're doing, and everything. Whether you're a retail shop, whether you're a brand, whatever the business you're doing, right? You have to make sure that you're going to go through rough times because people don't know who you are, what you do, and why you're doing it, until the point where enough people know about it so that it starts steadily growing. But you have to go through a couple of years of this crap before you actually get to, okay, you know what? Enjoying, it's simple. We know we're early in the history of our brand, and we've been going through some real shit before. But now I'm just enjoying the fact of being able to be hanging out here with you guys and stuff like that, But that would not. What would have happened, Abe? Honestly, look, you're honest, Abe, right? What would have happened if I had come to you in the first year and say, "Hey, Abe, I have that new cigar. You have to try it. It's so amazing," and blah blah blah. You would have just looked at me like, "Fuck you," right?
I would have said it out loud.
No. Well, you would have looked.
I would have said it out loud. No, listen, we get that all the time. I mean, we're in South Florida here. We got guys who are line cooks at the local diner yesterday, and next week, hey, I got a cigar line. It's crazy. And honestly, it's a very hard sometimes because I just really tell it to them like it is because they want me to smoke it. I'm like, me smoking it, me loving it, is not what's going to make it sell. Your livelihood is not based on whether I make a purchase from you or not.
No,
because
that's whether the consumer goes to it, whether you have the consumer.
There's your one sale, but unless you could reach the consumers and figure out how to get the consumers to want and like your cigar, then you've achieved nothing. You've made one sale to me. It's irrelevant.
Yeah. And a lot of people. Oh, sorry.
It's hard for a lot of these guys to hear because they, like you. Some of these guys are really passionate. They'll put in the time and the dedication. They'll go down to Central America, one of the countries, and really work it. And they put their life and blood. And they come and they've found the holy grail. They'll come with their cigar and please try this and tell me what you think. But that's not what's going to make the company successful. Now, how do you reach your consumer? How do you market to your consumer? How does your message get across to your consumer? And ultimately, no matter what you, the brand owner, or me, the retailer, thinks, what's the consumer going to think?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, that's who I serve. I serve the people walking through the door or ordering from us online. So if you don't know what they think and you're just worried about what you think, what I think, you're missing out on the most important equation of the whole thing.
The first thing is, it's great to have a great product. You can sell a crappy product as well as you can sell a great product. That's really not even important. And it's sad to say, but it's the case.
That's funny.
The real, it's, I really think that. The real thing is your brand is and has to be considered as a separate person. And that person has to have an identity, and that identity has to talk to people, and you have to find a way to put it in front of people so that people are actually wanting to discuss with it or learn about it, exchange with it. And that last little part is the hardest of it all. We're all on social media. How many freaking cigars do you see up there every day?
Lines I've never heard of. I've been in this business 25 years, and I see lines I've never heard of every day.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I love cigars and love this industry. I've been a retailer too in this industry later on, and I've spent time really wanting to know more. I'm always looking out for what is happening, seeing if I find something new I like or something just for myself. Just as a on the non-business part of it, just as a consumer, cigar guy. And every fucking day you find some stuff, and as a retailer, I've had, and that's something that surely happened to you too. At the time I was a retailer, it was a great experience. I have a lot of respect for people that do it because really difficult. It's something that it's much more challenging than most people think. And so yeah, it's something really a lot of respect for the people that do it full time, and that's their main focus, because it's more than people think. The main thing is, you know, I always remember that guy. So that guy comes into my shop and with a friend, and the friend was a member, and he was like, "Can I bring him in?" I was like, "Yeah, no worries." And they start smoking everything, and my friend just tells him, "Hey, it's, you know, the owner. If you want to give him a cigar or something." I was like, "Oh yeah, I'll give him a cigar, but so anyways, we're not going to sell in shops. We're probably going to sell 500,000 cigars the first year, without selling to shops, just direct consumer." I was like, "Holy shit, okay, that starts well." And the guy just gave me a cigar. I'm like, "Hey, just out of curiosity, don't know it. I know it's new. Can you tell me a little bit about it?" He's like, "Yeah. So, you know, I've been smoking cigars and with my partners, and there's nothing good in the market. We tried cigars and they're not good. So we decided to do the best cigar, you know, ever, basically." That's literally like not the same words, but that was it. I was like, "Oh crap." And I was like, "Okay." So at that time, I just realized, first thing, the guy's in my shop, what was my shop at the time. And the second thing is, the guy has no fucking idea that I have a brand too, you know? That's pretty interesting. So you're basically talking crap to me twice in the same fucking first sentences. I mean, that's pretty good. You start well, my guy.
It's a good start, yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. Let's continue like this. And, you know, just not talking. "Okay, can you tell me a little bit about this?" He's like, "So, yeah, we found that," and that's the other trap. That's a trap that always happens in this industry. And I was, you know, I'm like, "Oh, crap, again."
We found
the guy's
special tobacco.
Yeah, no, the guy was like, "So as we couldn't figure out there is no good cigars in the market, we went to the Dominican Republic, and we met that guy that was like the whole story. He was probably the founder of Cohiba, the Partagas, and run the factory in Cuba, and was Castro's friend and whatever the whole thing." He's like, "Oh, eh?"
And Plasencia's step cousin.
Yeah, something like this, but without knowing Plasencia, right? Yeah. And the guy was like, so we hired him and we made a factory. He's our general manager and master blender and stuff. And you're smoking this cigar, and you're like, "I can't smoke this shit. That's really, really bad. Really, really." I mean, that one cigar, that particular line, and I won't say whoever it is, it's non-relevant, but it was really bad. And the guy was with his speech and everything. And I was like, "Man, so you got screwed, because I didn't, you basically one more that met that Cuban master that did everything and probably was just driving tourists around in Cuba or something." And second, I started asking him, "Okay, I understand your point of view, your thing. That's all good." I was like, "But I really like that cigar XYZ. What do you think about it?" "Oh, I think I don't know it." "Oh, I've had that. Did you try that Foundation this or that Tatuaje or that Partagas D4 stuff?" And he's like, "No, I think I had that Oyo. Those brands I don't know." I'm like, "So you never starting talking about Padron?" "Oh no, I don't know that." I was like, "Did you ever fucking smoke a cigar?" It's like, holy shit. And you're sitting there like a retailer first, retailer or brand owner slash brand owner slash brand owner slash retailer, because that's really brand owner is what we do, right? And sitting there, I was like, holy shit, that's crazy. And when you've done it, and when you've been producing cigars, and that when someone throws 500,000 cigars at you in the first year without selling to a shop, only direct to consumer, without ever having been present anywhere, nobody knowing the brand, you're like, yeah, that's an interesting challenge. I mean, I wish you all the luck of the world, but that's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, he's starting out very poorly out of the gate.
Mm-hmm.
Out of the gate.
But you know how it is. That's something that sadly happens too much. So as you did, and I always said, when people want advices, I'm definitely probably not the best advice they can get. They can find people that have been in the industry for much longer than I, that have gone already much further than we did. But if someone wants to, I've always been open to help out and try to figure out solutions and give them some advices. But when you start like this, it's not good. That's really, really bad.
I've always said a very smart man can learn something from anybody. And that's the truth. You could learn something from a simpleton if you really are, observant and intelligent. So that's a lesson out there. Anyway, before we get to bring Coop on, I just want to ask you one more thing. You have a new cigar out. Yes, the B2.
Yeah, we do.
Tell us a little bit about this new cigar.
So it's actually what I'm smoking right now. So it's the Viso Jalapa. I don't know if you can see it right there. So it's it's a soft box pressed. Comes in 5 different sizes: Robusto, Robusto Gordo, Toro, Toro Gordo, and Torpedo. But the main thing is, I think the most important part was really the blending process. I always have that weird thing where one tobacco in specific always starts like turning in my head for months. It's just there again and again and again. I'm like, I've never worked with this, but I really have a problem. I need to do something. So it's always the same process. End up going down there, get the tobacco, start working around it. So we started working around this. And that specific tobacco that was running all the time in my head is Viso Jalapa. So Jalapa is an area in Nicaragua. Viso is, for those who don't know, for example, it's basically the middle part of the plant. You have seco on the down part without going through the cortes, but seco, viso, and ligero. So the fun part of it is I wanted that wrapper because it is extremely flavorful. It's sweet, it's deep, it's rich, it's oily. When you have that, and it just kind of fascinated me. So we started working around it and worked around 100% Nicaragua. Everything we do is in Honduras, right? But the cigar, this particular cigar is 100% Nicaraguan cigar. Binder, filler, wrapper, everything. And it just came out really, really rich. I think it's definitely fitting a new spot in the portfolio we had because it's, every time we do something, we try to have it make sense in what we offer. And I really think it opens that spot to what I would call new school Maduro, something that is on the heavier side, that is really rich, the kind of cigar for me that smokes a little bit of everything and not easily towards always very strong cigars. It's kind of cigar I smoke and I'm like, okay, I'm going to take a little break and I'm going to have another one after. But that's
similar price point.
Yes, similar price points. It's actually anywhere between 8 and something and $9.50.
And it's already started shipping to retailers?
It started shipping to retailers. It's actually fairly crazy. We've never seen a launch. I feel like I just started launching a limited edition or something because the demand has been great for that. And I appreciate everybody's support.
Awesome.
But it's something you can start finding. And the cigar, pretty recommended if you like something rich, oily, and sweet. Nice little spices to it. Definitely go try it. That Viso Jalapa is really a magical piece of tobacco right there. It's something that brings so much depth into the profile. I really think something to try out if you guys have a chance.
Awesome. I look forward to trying it. All right, it's that time right now. Let's get our man William Cooper on and let's see what the scoop is this week.
Hey, yo, what's my theme music?
The Scoop with Coop. Breaking industry news. Hear it first on KMA Talk Radio and cigar-coop.com.
Oh,
There he is.
he's got a
We had to do a little move today. Yep. Good morning, everybody.
I don't know where you moved to, but it's working real good.
6s and 7, Coop.
6s and 7. Wow. After Wednesday night, what can you say? We look dead. We look dead Wednesday night.
What a dumpster fire of a game last night too, but we pulled it off.
It was. So we got Game 7. We'll see what happens. I think at this point, I'm happy to get to the Game 7. So
sorry for hijacking the show, Ed. Yeah.
No, it's all right, but Coop's oddly sitting like on the edge of the screen.
I'm trying to avoid some of the sunlight here. Is the problem?
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. You're good. You don't got to lean. I was curious.
It's a good thing. It's
good.
like in paintings, you don't want to have the object or the main focus in the middle. You need a little bit of angle. I think it works out.
Exactly.
It's your art.
Yes.
Well, I'm heavily drawn to the floral pattern on the wall. But
yes, I just noticed it. Beautiful.
But either way, what is the scoop this week, my friend?
Well, and I'll put Sebastien on the spot a bit because he actually had some news that broke the last couple of days on a couple of things he's going to be previewing at the trade show. So, Sebastien, can I turn it over to you to kind of give a little details on that?
Yeah. That sounds good. I thought I was done talking.
The Paul deGrasse method of work is have somebody else do it.
Well, exactly.
No, yeah, it's we're actually pretty excited. So for those who know, we have that habit of doing one release a year for limited edition. Last year, the release, because of the whole mess during the year, the factory closing in Honduras for a couple of months, early stage on the year with COVID and everything, it pushed everything back to the end of the year. But normally, it comes out and is showcased around the trade show, which is so the limited edition for us is always like a little laboratory or a playground. So I go around and try to find stuff that I can't find for regular production, or tobaccos that, in that case, there is one tobacco that had not been used in the industry yet. It's tobacco that is used in other industries, and we process it and work around it in a way that, we bring a new experience. So we do that, and it's always, I think this year worldwide, it's only 1,650 10-count boxes. It's a Toro size. It's always been for me, one of the fun projects of the year. It's something preparing in advance, working around stuff that I had never worked on. And, the hard part of it, it's always something that's I'm never going to work with anymore. Usually, we've never repeated anything in there or anything. So it's always a fun process. So that's going to come out being showcased at the show at PCA in July, a couple of weeks, actually.
Nice.
And it should be reaching retailers anywhere in July after the show, so second part of July. We're give or take getting to the point where it's all gone. We have everything. Every rep, the sales team usually takes care of everything, and we split the amount for the US through them. So they're actually estimating what retailer wants in their territory and everything, and so that's for the retailers that want some, get in touch with your local reps as soon as you can, because it might be too late after that. The other thing that we're doing is it's just going to be showcasing it. Well, if the box makers work fast enough, that's the only problem. That way, that's the problem in the industry right now. You get the tobacco, you're able to roll, but you don't get the boxes.
Right.
But no, normally it should be good. We've seen some good advances and stuff. We're going to be showcasing a product called Prospector. So it's a new umbrella core line. It's going to regroup all double wrapper cigars. The Prospector was the first time the name appeared was 2 years ago as shop exclusive for an event in Texas. And we've had, the reaction general in the US was really fun. We had the reps hey, why is it that you have that cigar you never told me? It's like, it's a shop exclusive. How do you want me to tell it? So basically it made a lot of noise. So we decided everything that's going to be barber pole core line is going to go under this line, and it's going to be a one size only thing. So yeah, we're going to showcase it at the show. We're probably going to take pre-orders there. I'm trying to figure that out yet. Still, and then it should be arriving official in the market in the second part of the year. So anywhere around, a fall, winter, something like this. And of course, we're going to showcase the new Viso Jalapa line too, which is half new.
Excellent.
What else you got going on, Coop?
Well, thanks, Sebastien. So Casada Cigars. Yep. Casada Cigars made a big announcement this week. This is their first new line in 2 years. And it's going to come under the Casa Magna brand. It's called Casa Magna Liga F. Now, up until really this point, most of Casa Magna has been made through Plasencia in Nicaragua, and there was one release actually out of Honduras they did. This one's actually going to be made by the Casadas in the Dominican Republic. So Plasencia is not involved with this one. It's Liga F because it stands for Liga Fuerte. It's a stronger Casa Magna. It's going to feature sun-grown Corojo wrapper over Dominican binder and Nicaraguan and Dominican fillers. It's going to come in 4 sizes. Pricing is going to range from $580 to $970, depending on which size you get. And that's
a big range.
Well, because one is a Petit Corona, that's why it's 4 1/4 by 40.
That's a big
range.
range.
Yeah. The other ones are all in that $9 range because they're Toro, Robusto, and Churchill. So yeah. So you'll see that at the trade show, and it should be shipping later this summer, early fall.
Maybe that'll resuscitate some life into that brand.
Yeah, I mean, there's something that really needed to come out with something, and they need to kind of create some buzz. I think this is good for them. It got a lot of positive feedback I got this week on this. People were happy to see Casada putting something out.
Yep.
Yep.
It's good to hear them in the news, other than something that's selling one of their front mark names.
Right.
Well, one of the things that was making a lot of noise from them was always that Oktoberfest thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of ran its course.
I heard it's coming back.
And I think what happened, and this is only my experience watching, I think it got diluted. There became so many variations of Oktoberfest and barrels and this and that and this, and just kind of, I think it lost a little focus, and it just kind of ran its course. I hope they bring it back cleanly and in a way that it won't get lost.
I agree. I agree. In my area, Oktoberfest has been a popular cigar, but I know in other areas of the country it hasn't done as well in the past. Just from talking to people and
it did at one point. It was hot every year, and then it just kind of
like I said, it always stayed in the Charlotte area. It always stayed popular, but I know people from Charlotte would go to other cities and say, "Hey, I found these Oktoberfest," and they buy them by the box and come back.
What else you got going on, Coop?
So some little news close to home. Anonymous by AJ Fernandez was announced this past week. So this is the 17th Smoke Inn micro blend, which Abe, I actually went and tried to fact check that. I wanted to see if it was right. You guys were right on the number, by the way.
Oh, thanks. Appreciate it.
I'll tell you why it got a little confusing, because we actually debated how to handle this. Because we never count a re-release as a new number, but we counted the Red Meat Lovers Club box press, the 2020 box press, as its own variation.
I would agree on that, yeah.
So that's where we kind of were in debate at what number we're at. So because it really, to me, it tasted like a different cigar. It's a completely different size. So we counted that as our 16th, which would have made this one our 17th installment.
Yeah, in fact, the way on the website that we do stuff is every size is a different cigar, because there's nuances and stuff like that. Where it also got tricky was with the Padron release, because there were technically 2 Padron releases.
Yes, but it's one of those things that everything they make comes in natural Maduro. So
right, yeah.
We slotted that as one at the time, and that was our second one. So I didn't think at the time probably that this was going to be like a 15-year continuing doing stuff like this. So we didn't put a lot of thought into it, because our plan was to do 4 that year. One with Pete, Padron, Fuente, and my father. So that just counted as number 2 from off the bat.
Right. So I think we counted them the same way, and it came out to 17, which was cool. Now, here's where it gets a little tricky again. This is the first time you released 2 sizes at once.
Yeah.
So they're 2 Figurados. One's a rounded one, one's a box press. So I guess you just take the same philosophy you do with Padron here and count it as one there. And I guess you guys couldn't decide which one to do. So you ended up doing both.
Well, I don't think AJ could decide either. That's why they sent us both, right?
Our original plan was to just we asked for it to be a box press Figurado. We got a round, we got a box press version.
That packaging is savage.
Thank you. And we when we got the samples, he sent them both. And we're like, why do you send them in round? And then when we were smoking, I'm like, oh, I don't know. I kind of like it round, but even though I want it in box press, and then we said, screw it, we'll just do both.
Right. So you guys are going to be launching that a week from Wednesday on June 30th, and it'll be available on the website, and then there's going to be a virtual event.
Yep, it'll start at noon, so we'll start selling it during the day at noon, and then the virtual event starts, I think, 7 p.m. We'll have the guys from AJ Fernandez on, and then I think we got some raffles for anybody who makes purchases that day.
And we'll also be celebrating the goat's birthday that day.
It is the goat's birthday.
Oh, look at that. Nice.
Hey, Paul, I just sent you something if you could load it up when you get a chance.
Wake up, Paul.
Anything else you got going on, Coop?
Just I'll mention a couple of PCA trade show exclusives that were announced this week. Crown Heads announced the Le Tessier. That is going to be a 6 1/4 by 44 Lonsdale size, featuring a broad reef wrapper. It's coming out of the Pichardo factory, which they've been doing a lot of stuff with lately. So that's going to be showcased at the trade show as an exclusive for attendees. And this year, La Polina, who normally releases the Goldie at the trade show, is saying it's going to be trade show exclusive. So if you want this year's Goldie, you're going to have to be at the trade show. It's going to be in a Prominente size, 6.25 by 6.5 by 48. So the Goldie is an annual release that they do. They've been doing it since 2012, and they do a different size every year. But according to La Polina, if you want that cigar, you're going to have to be at the trade show.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yep. I thought that was very interesting because that's normally a very good seller for them and everything, too.
All right. Anything else?
I'll mention one last note. Normally, it's not a big deal, but I thought this was interesting. Foundation Cigar Company, Nick Melillo's company, will not be at the trade show. He's saying it's due to business and familial reasons why he's not going to be there. But what I thought was interesting about this announcement is he actually got Scott Pierce to make a quote in the press release, basically, kind of, I guess, I don't want to say supporting Nick, but kind of being understanding to Nick staying home. And it was pointing out that even though Foundation's staying home, they're still supporting PCA and the advocacy efforts. But I'd never seen anything like that before in covering, who's at the trade show and who's not at the trade show, that the executive director of the PCA actually makes a quote in the press release. So that was an interesting move.
I don't know what the background is. I don't know any of the backstory to this, but that kind of really only tells me that there must be some real legitimate reason.
Yeah, I think so too.
And they didn't want it to appear as if he was aligning himself with those people who are kind of anti-trade show at this point.
Exactly. He was very careful how he announced that, I think. Yeah. So I think you're right on with that, Abe.
So that's what that tells me. So,
is that going to be interesting, though?
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. This could be an interesting year or two in this industry. It'll be very interesting. A lot of things going on.
It's such a it's absolutely crazy. I mean, the whole when you look at behind the curtains right now, there are some scary things happening.
Yeah,
there's some really scary things happening.
Yeah, there's Paul in a shower cap behind the curtain. That's what scares everybody. Coop,
some people like it.
Is that all you got this week?
That's what I got for this week.
All right, and they can check you out. Anything going on you're posting up that people could look forward to?
We're going to be doing all of our PCA stuff over the next 2 to 3 weeks. So that's going to be our heavy focus going on that. Review-wise, we have the Cohiba Serie M review coming out this week. So we can look forward to that.
Cool. For more information, check them out at cigar-coop.com.
Thank you.
You've been posting a lot lately. A lot of going on, huh?
It's been busy. It's been very busy for us. Yeah. Yep. Thanks, Sebastien. Yeah, we've been very busy the last week.
All right. Now it's that time that seems to get everybody excited every week. We have a lot of our fans who are involved in this decision-making process, but it's time for Season 2, Tale of the Tape Pro Wrestler Edition.
All right. Continuing our top wrestlers of all time, coming in at number 8 for me, Antonio Inoki. This pick is kind of a catch-22 for me because I feel like a lot of the hardcore guys are going to say, I can't believe you only put him at 8. And everybody else is going to say, who the hell is that? So, I mean, I felt like with an American audience and whatnot, and us, being the American market, 8 was fair. This is another guy who's a wrestling legend, especially in Japan. He's probably a god in Japan. Wrestled for another 400 years, like some of the guys on our list. And more importantly for me, he actually had a legendary match with my number 3 top boxer of all time, Muhammad Ali, who many people consider that match the precursor to MMA. Go ahead, Coop.
A fantastic pick on that one for sure. People may think this one's a little low, but I'm going to go with number 8 as being The Rock. The Rock really has everything going for him. Great technical wrestler, great charisma on screen, championships he's got, headlining the big events. But why he's a little lower is when he made that move into the movie career, it kind of shortened his ring career a lot. And a lot of the other guys have the longevity that he doesn't have. But when this guy was in the ring, he's a marquee guy and he's a top tier performer. So I'm going with number 8 as being The Rock.
Absolutely. Good pick, Coop. Good pick.
Okay.
And, I'm sure the comments will get rocking, and we'll get our critiques coming.
Well, I gotta tell you, leave it to Alex to pick a guy I never heard of.
I know Inoki was, he was great. He was a great wrestler.
Listen, I'm telling you, the hardcore guys are going to yell at me, and everybody else is going to be like, who's that guy? I never heard of him.
And I'm shocked that Rock was actually that low on your list. Probably, I don't know if Rock will make Alex's list.
Well, me and Coop discussed this, and there's a thing with guys who were huge superstars, but they really didn't have the longevity because they started going to different areas. Back in the day, a lot of guys weren't jumping into movies and becoming full-on actors. So,
well, I mean, let's be real. Not a lot of them can.
Right, I agree.
Right.
I agree.
Rock,
but they cut.
Rock will tell you he struggled early on. He took a lot of lessons. Yeah. He took his transition seriously and tried to become a better actor.
He did.
My favorite quote from him is the fact that his daughter still does not believe he's the voice of Maui in Moana.
Right.
He has like a 9-year-old daughter, and she loves the movie, and he's like, "That's me," and she's like, "No, that's not you, Daddy."
That's great. That's great. Well,
I love him though. I think he's a great actor. I think he's a better actor I think he's better in these movies than he was in the ring, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, he was a great character.
Yeah, good showman.
Wrestling.
Yes,
a great showman. So definitely transitioned well over to acting.
His father was a hell of a wrestler too, Rocky Johnson. Yeah, great wrestler. I followed him growing up, Rocky Johnson.
Well, there you go.
Yep.
All right, there you have it. Our third week in season 2 of Tail of the Tape Pro Wrestling. Before we go to our insane asylum, I take the compliment well. Thank you on the packaging comment, Sebastian Anonymous. Sometimes we have the most fun when we get creative with stuff.
The groupthink is always the most fun.
Yeah, and we were working on our new ad for it yesterday. Paul, you want to slap it up? I sent it to Paul. Kind of like this one. We put this one up yesterday.
Awesome.
So yeah,
it scares me.
Right?
It's amazing. The process of creating is always interesting. Right?
It is.
It's challenging, but it brings that excitement in doing this. And you're like, what do we do to make it really something that pops out that makes it? I really like it, man.
It's the funnest. It's the funnest stuff. And what's we always work on the cigar first. So we work on a cigar and then we have fun with it. But like you said earlier, the core is working out what we think is going to be a great blend that people enjoy.
But the genius thing that you said, Sebastian, because I'm a marketing major and studied marketing and branding most of my adult life. That's what I do for a living. You brought up a theory that's like as old as advertising is in its life, that brands are a personality. Carl Jung said that all brands are a personality, and we like them and we love them and we hate them just like we do people. So you're talking about having a conversation with a brand. That's marketing 101. So I thought that was pretty cool to hear that from you.
Just had this conversation in my office about a month ago, Alex, where we talked about Smoke Inn and how I treat it, and I always have treated like a living entity, like its own person.
Yes, it's an individual. Absolutely.
It's a child that has to be fed, nurtured, taken care of. You can't neglect it. You can't abuse it.
I think it's really key to the whole process. It's one of the keys. It's one of the things you have to understand and accept when you decide to do it, and not most of the time. A lot of times, the I don't know if it's a mistake, but the decision is taken that the brand is whoever is behind the brand, which has the person behind the brand always has influence, right? And it's obvious, but the brand can't be the same person as a person that is behind the brand. It's not possible. It has to be two different people.
No, especially early in my career, and I think you can concur, is like I would never let my personal life be detrimental to my business. I would suffer before I would strain the business to alleviate shit going on in my personal world. I mean, and that's how you would treat a child, right? You wouldn't make your child suffer to make your life easier, and that's how I will treat the business. All right. Well, that being said, it's that time. Before we do it, let's put up that code one more time for the Cavalier Cigars. Today and tomorrow only. Save 15%. Smokeinn.com. Use the code GOLD. GOLD. Should be easy to remember. And now in typical KMA fashion, let's close out this Saturday morning with a cigar insane asylum.
Welcome to the Cigar Asylum.
Did you know I'm utterly insane?
We all go a little mad sometimes.
where logic and reason cease to exist.
What's going on, Lee?
Whoa.
Oh shit!
Oh God!
Derek,
I didn't know he was
What
here.
happened? What happened?
Hit it.
So this week's Cigar Insane Asylum.
Cigar.
Yeah, I'm leaving right now.
I know I was
It's good to see you, man. It's good to see you, man.
This week's story is honestly more of a heroic one. That once you hear it, you may feel the action taken was pretty insane. It is an epic tale of mother versus mother. A 17-year-old Southern California girl got in a shoving match with a bear and walked away unscathed. Haley Morin Acco was gardening in a backyard in Bradbury, California on Memorial Day when a bear and her cubs began walking atop a cinder block wall at the end of the garden. The family of California black bears set off on Morocco's dogs, which began barking and lunging at them. Mama bear, in turn, started swatting at the large dog and three small ones that joined the canine Ursarin confrontation. The commotion caught Morocco's attention, and without thinking, she ran over to defend the family pets. I see a bear. It grabbed my dog, Valentina. And I run over there. She's a baby, Morocco said. And the first thing I did was push the bear, and somehow it worked. Morocco threw her hands up in the air and pushed the large bear off the wall. The cubs, frightened by the loud barking, had already hightailed away from the scene. Morocco then scooped up one of the smaller dogs, and she and the pets ran in the opposite direction. Here is a video of the confrontation.
Let your
Oh, that was good.
Hold on.
Oh,
dear God, she
shit.
just went for it.
Well done.
Oh,
Thank
That
you
was
to
serious
Kevin
right there.
Kamish-Paro for joining us.
Tune into the Whereby later tonight as Kevin will be reading Green Eggs and Ham for us later.
He's not done with the reading.
Oh, keep going, Kevin.
The teen said she is lucky to have walked away with only a sprained finger and a scraped knee. Her advice: do not push bears. Do not do what I did. You might not have the same outcome. Well, little Miss Moroccancino, while going toe-to-toe with Mama Bear is definitely insane, I have to commend you for protecting your pups. Everyone here at KMA is happy that you got away without any serious injuries, because had something happened to you, we just want to be able to bear it.
All right, give it up to the kids.
Get it, bear it. I got it.
I see what you did there.
Hey, listen, he got me with all the R's. He had this plan.
I do not wear Green Eggs and Ham, Sam. I am.
But you guys have a great day. Glad to be a part of this.
My man.
All right.
man. It's good to see you, man.
Thank you,
Yep.
Kevin.
You have a good
Thank you,
weekend.
Kevin. Yeah.
Yeah, you had to put a special guest on for the. Look, he's even got the pasta sauce on the paper I gave him.
I had Italian last night.
All right,
Now I got to raid the humidor.
yeah, get out. All right. Listen, Coop, thanks as always for being part of the show.
Thank you.
Sebastian, pleasure to have you on KMA first time. We always love it. We will see you at the PCA, I guess, in a couple of weeks.
Sounds great. My
That
pleasure,
should-
and thank you for having me. That's it's been great. It's been
That
great.
should be fun.
Don't forget about this for the rest of the weekend.
GOLD.
You can check that out. GOLD.
Yep. We will have a best of next week because I will be traveling on a family vacation. So if we don't catch it beforehand, don't forget the anonymous drop on June 30th. And other than that, to all the fathers out there, I will say this: look, it is genetically, women are genetically prone to always nurture and tend their kids, while, you know, men oftentimes will have the capacity to be able to just get up and leave, and it happens. So to all those good fathers out there who always stuck it out, provided for their family, helped nurture and raise their children, salute. I commend you. Happy Father's Day to all the amazing dads out there. Sometimes we don't get as much credit as we should, but we do the good work. So cheers.
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 We'll see you in 2 weeks, everyone. Keep it lit.